say, oh, look what's selling now, and you do searches, and it'll tell you how to do searches to find what are the latest trends, and you can tap into that. There's a whole bunch of reasons why that's not a very effective long-term strategy. Hello again, Damien Andrews here for Next Gen Sales Masterclass, and we're going to cross over into the dark side again and talk about a lot of things you see out there. And that's where I want to touch a little bit on hype and where hype can take us and things that can go a little bit astray with that. And I don't often do this because, as you're probably aware, and on those search things, search engines, videos, anything like that, as soon as you click on something, you're then bombarded with the same thing. But I did do it. I took a step, and I was watching some video, and then some of the other videos that came up it was an Andrew Tate sales program, and I was a bit intrigued by that because it's not a character that I normally follow, and generally don't click on it because you do get bombarded with it. And I must say, same happened here. I was just immediately bombarded with a whole bunch of more of similar videos from the same person, and I was intrigued to see what it was about. What I found interesting from that, when looking at that, obviously, well, not obviously, but I hadn't really looked at anything much to do with Andrew Tate in the past, and certainly haven't put his name in the title of this video for very specific reasons, because it's not about creating that hype about a person. And a lot of people make this mistake with sales. They think that that's going to work. They'll tap into, and I've seen so many programs out there that say, oh, look what's selling now, and you do searches, and it'll tell you how to do searches to find what are the latest trends, and you can tap into that. There's a whole bunch of reasons why that's not a very effective long-term strategy. You might get a little sales bump, and I've seen some couple of genuine people where they've had success, and then they've said they've sold their business and started again, and they've been honest about it, saying that they haven't done so well, because that kind of success, when you tap into those things, it's not really lasting. It takes a lot of effort for those who have been in sales for a while, especially those that are good at sales, know that it takes some effort to build that reputation. If you understand people's behavior, we're all creatures of habit. And think about that. You might think you're not, but majority of what you do is habit. Think about the toothpaste that you use. Have a look at the majority of products in your cupboard, food products. Other products in your house. Have a look at those and look at the brands that you buy. And then next time you buy it, think about are you actually thinking about the product, or you're just grabbing what you know? And this is where it's really important to understand that hype, because someone can come along and say, hey, let's tap into this buzz thing that's happening now. And it's the flavor of the month. I mean, think of Rubik's Cubes, for those old enough to remember that. That was massive. Tamagotchis. Again, those things happen, but they're rare. So how do you, if you're chasing that, it's a lot of effort. It's ridiculous, the amount of effort, if you're chasing the current trend, because the word is there. You're chasing it. You're not leading it. And this is where it's really important, from your perspective, if you want to be great at sales, is to be first. You want to be first. You want to be at the cutting edge. And that's where there's a whole raft of techniques to do that. And then, yes, deliberately, I'm not telling you what they are in this video. That's for the people that really want it and are part of the Next Gen Sales Masterclass. But there's a bunch of techniques that you can use to be first and be ahead. And it's not a bunch of stuff that you'll find on the internet, because that's not trendy. The sound principles, yes, if you look them up, you'll be able to find them, but unless you're ready for it, and this is where it's really important to understand how your mind works in respect of sales. You have inside your brain a thing called your reticular activating system, and that filters what you see. So what we've got here, what's in the masterclass, the Next Gen Sales Masterclass, what we do is we open up your mind so that you can actually see the opportunities right in front of you. And then the next step we take is integrate that at an unconscious level, so it becomes who you are, so it becomes how you act. It's like when I was posted to the SAS in the Australian Army, we went through a whole process, and the military does this very well, where they train you, they drill you, so it becomes unconscious in your actions. And that's what you need to do to be successful at sales. It's about you drilling yourself, and you can do it very quickly if you know how to train your unconscious mind to then act from that new behavior. Otherwise, you're just going to act from the old behaviors. And if you're struggling with sales, then it's not about that sales are difficult. It's about you not having that skill. And what I mean by that, I was having that discussion with my son's karate sensei. He's a 7th Dan black belt. And we're talking about, are things hard or easy? And he said, well, it's hard. And I said, well, it's relative to your skill. You're a 7th Dan black belt. If I asked you to do grading at a yellow belt level, how hard would that be? And he said, well, really easy. And I said, well, it's not that the task was hard, it's that your skill level is different. And that's where sales masters, they're operating from a different skill set, a higher skill set. But not only that, it's not a conscious skill set. Yes, they might be aware of it, and maybe they do have a conscious awareness of it, but where they're operating from is at an unconscious level. And that's where we want to take this, is you being able to integrate at an unconscious level so that you can do that. And that's where, from that perspective, one of the key things to look at is the style and how you approach things. Coming back to that reference of Andrew Tate. Now, obviously, I hadn't watched it before, but he's very brash, swears a lot, quite arrogant in how he approaches things. Now, yeah, I'm sure there's a market that will buy into that, no doubt. A younger generation, maybe, but certainly I would find it, from my perspective personally, if someone had that brash style, they wouldn't get past the door. They're obviously not a person that's going to listen. They're all about telling you how it is and going for that hard close. And there are ways to close. And yes, we've got over 143 ways to close as part of the Next Gen Sales Masterclass. But being overly brash, I think that's you're limiting your market. And this is where that adaptability comes in, that from an unconscious level, being able to pick up, having a sensitivity. Oh, that's really powerful. Having a sensitivity to pick up on what the customer needs and then adapt to that. So there's a whole raft of things I've just given you right there that you can unpack. But that's where really have a look at how you're approaching the sales side of things. Are you chasing the hype, or are you at the cutting edge of being first? And that's what Next Gen Sales Masterclass is about. Being first is so much easier.